Hello and welcome back, guys, to the next episode of Garuda. And I'm really happy that we are back here on this channel again with the next episode. And shame on me again, there's been a little delay again, but you know, it's because most of you do know I'm to Berlin every once in a while to attend my courses for university. And so I did last week, and this is the reason why we are just here this week. And I'm so happy to be joined again by the lovely Silvarret. Hi there.
Hey, I am fine. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine as well, and had a stressful last week, and I'm so happy to be finally back working on the park. And I literally came back from Berlin and just went straight into the park and continued building. But what we are looking at right now is something I did 1.5 weeks ago. I put in a coaster, and let me just start off with this, because I know about you guys out there commenting on coasters in general, and they really like to comment on them. But please do me a favor and don't judge this coaster anyhow. I mean, like, this is just a placeholder. I just tried around a little bit to get a layout somehow between all of our things we've already built. And we already talked about this before starting to record, and I'm really happy to say that I will give this coaster into the hands of Silvarret to play around with it later on, because I had no idea what to do with it apart from, and this will be mainly the thing we are going to do in this episode, apart from having a nice interaction with the queue and also with the exit of this coaster. So yeah, the general idea was to have a kiddie coaster also in this park, and I mean, it's kind of obvious that this little dragon coaster does also match a really common thing you will find in Thailand. So like dragons are a big part of their culture and a big part of their belief and stuff like this. And so I decided to go in with this coaster, and also to just give me a little bit of space to build a little bit of a restaurant area, because this was also a comment we had on some of our videos that we actually had no restaurant or stuff in this park.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm happy that I finally can go into it, and yeah, so that's basically my idea I had about this area, and all you will see in the next 27 minutes, I guess, will be just playing around with this layout, because I figured around and I just trial and errored a lot. Is that even a word? I don't know. Yeah.
And to be honest, I have no idea what's even going to happen. I'm actually looking at the time-lapse right now, but I haven't seen a single thing. Well, I've seen some pictures, but I haven't seen actually like the time-lapse itself or how exactly everything is put together. The only thing that I do remember, and though I kind of mentioned this on the last Koali Beach episode as well, is that I got like a heart attack when you sent me those pictures. I was literally thinking, all right, Garuda's almost finished. We just have like a few little bends here and there that still need some stuff. Rudi's just gonna add some trees. He's just gonna add some benches and stuff and finish up this ride nice and clean, and we're done with all of this. And suddenly he sends me back pictures of a new roller coaster, and it's like, yes, I built a new roller coaster with this entire area around it, and I have no idea what to say. It's going to be very difficult to get around this thing. Honestly, because you're giving me this thing, like, again in the next episode, and I have no idea yet how I'm even going to work with this. I'm very curious to see how exactly it's going to turn out. It's already working out really cool with all of the interaction between all the paths and the terrain and everything, and how you even got that thing in so tightly packed between the park border and the rest. But that aside, Jesus Christ, what the hell did you give me?
Yeah, I'm not sorry for it. I must be honest on this one, because I think you will see in the end. I actually put a lot of effort into finishing this area. So basically, you will have to work a lot of things out with the coaster in general, so maybe a little bit of underground work, for example, or maybe not, I don't know. But apart from this, the whole area is kind of finished. The only thing you might do is just put in a few tables at the end, because I forgot to put in some tables. There are a lot of benches, but no tables. But they, I mean, like, it's street food, you know, they can just eat with their hands.
Oh, don't make me think of Thai street food. I've never even been there, and I'm already jealous.
Yeah, it's I didn't favor our performance by just putting in a lot of foliage, but it was already starting to be laggy. So
yeah, it's laggy anyway.
So yeah, but it's also I kind of had the idea to to really want to have this little area over there, because I was also thinking of a nice restaurant we've been to in Chiang Mai, which is in the northern part of Thailand, and it's also next to a temple, and it was also kind of really really built into the shape of it's not a mountain, it was a little bit of a hilly area, and a really nice interaction with the environment. And so I just wanted to remake that in a way of really on my own style. So this is not inspired by anything realistic, it's just inspired by the idea of having something really close to the environment, and with the rock in the back part of it. And
exactly.
So just to try around, and also with this kind of floor covering method here over here with the wooden pieces, I actually wanted to have something shine down in the middle of it, so it's fully intentioned. And down here I just wanted to have a really flat ground to make it all a little bit more interesting, to have different ground pieces and ground textures. And there we go with all the benches, which will stay there for a longer time, I guess. I just forgot to put...
Wait a second, you should totally, or well, I guess I can, or maybe you're doing it later on, but you can totally put some tables in between those benches, so you kind of have like picnic
that's
tables.
it, I just forgot. So it's up to you.
Alright.
I just completely forgot about this, because I put them down, as you can see, really early on in this episode, and there will be a lot of stuff going on later on. This is still the recording from 1.5 weeks ago, where I just basically made the layout, and you will see a clear cut later on. I guess even the time of day changes, I'm not too sure, but when I came back from Berlin, I needed to stop myself from putting in even more, because I was so hyped again to play the game. It's really basic. By the way, it's just something I never mentioned, but I never had that before. But even being just 1 week away, so I haven't had the chance to play it at all, like for 1 week and 2 days, I guess. I'm so super excited always to get back into the game. This is...
Dude, I always feel like the less free time I have, the more I want to play Planet Coaster. Like, it just exponentially shoots up whenever I don't have the chance to play Planet Coaster for a long time.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's just me though.
No, I guess we will find a few people out there who do feel so. I've seen some. I just made a little poll on Facebook and to see how many hours people have already spent into the game, and there were really people with more than 1,000 hours already. I mean, wow. Where did they even get the time from? It's so crazy.
Wait a minute, let me check Steam. Well, I have 771 hours in Planet Coaster, but then 271 hours in the alpha version, so I guess I also have 1,000 in total.
Wow, I just have not even 200 hours in the full release.
Whew, you're slacking behind, mate.
Yeah, it's I just there's so much boring stuff like work and university and
Yeah, honestly though, the number for me isn't entirely true. Like sometimes I just like leave it AFK when I'm not actually there.
Yeah.
Quite a bit actually. Or I'll have it just like in the background while doing homework or something. But still, it's a lot of hours.
Yeah, and mine is also faked, to be honest. I'm always forgetting about doing the laundry, and then I just like it comes over me like a shock, and oh no, you need to get back the laundry, and then I just leave the game open, and the problem is that it really is like about an hour or two when I just need to do all the stuff, and then I just left the game open, and this is something really important that I play sandbox mode, because in a challenge mode or so that would be lethal.
Yeah, maybe. Though then again, I remember in Roller Coaster Tycoon, I would always leave my game open just to earn more money. So when I got back, I've got so much stuff in my bank account.
Yeah, that's right.
Like that was the only way to actually beat some of the scenarios.
That's right. It's also down to if the how's it called the thing that the coasters now do age. This kind of.
Oh yeah, that is true. That's a problem.
By the way, now we are getting in with something I'm mostly happy with in this episode. I think that's my favorite part of the episode. I kind of wanted to recreate this little...
Dude, are those turnstiles?
Yes, and I just wanted to get in with a little bit of a cooking area and try to do something like...
Oh wait, never mind. They're not turnstiles. It's
I know. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. I just... it is something else, yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's both
Yeah.
good. I mean, we could also have a small DJ area with some turnstiles around.
Yeah,
here.
it was just no. I was thinking if there are turnstiles, I just manipulated, but they weren't. You know, these are these sci-fi boxes, I guess, and I
Oh,
just
yeah.
wanted to get in something like a cooking area, and I really like, yeah, this kind of Thai food cooking style with this really open area and open, how's it called, open cooking
Oh,
area. I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I know exactly what it is that you're talking
Yeah.
about. Wait, that made no sense. But I watched this guy called Migrationology. I don't know if you've ever heard of
Not
him. Like,
really.
he's not that well known. But he's like a food vlogger who is mostly active on Facebook, I believe. But he actually has a very big YouTube account as well, who lives in Thailand and who goes around the area just like making vlogs about the most unknown little street shops. Like he rarely goes to the big restaurants. He always goes to the smallest shops in like those areas where you'd kind of like be unsure whether you should eat it at all because you'd probably get diarrhea anyway. But it's so good, and it's like all of these little open restaurants with like satay and everything on the grill just over like a little street right in the middle of a small town. It's so good. Like, it's just reminding me of that.
Yeah, by the way, you're really hitting a point which is something I'm really also happy to talk about right now. No, I didn't do so, I guess. It's something for us, like Western European people getting there. It's really, at the first glance, it's a hard task to get over it and just to try out all the street food, because it's really from hygienic point of view, maybe not the most, common thing to do. But you know, it's like I did this a few times, and we went there late at night because then it's pretty cool to go there because restaurants have closed, and it's really tasty. Most of the times I just, of course I had some bad times as well, but it's really tasty. It's really good, and I mean, most of it's really hard cooked, so never mind, the bacteria are so killed anyway, so you know, it's fine. You can just eat, and it's really tasty. And it's also like, I guess it's also down to the atmosphere around it. It always tastes better when you are like in the hot Thailand and this really charming night market with all the little food stands, and it has to taste good.
Yeah, of course.
So this,
Dude, I am jealous.
yeah, I mean, what you're talking about? You're going not really exactly there, but you're going in this kind of area in just a few months.
Yeah, true that. Well, we still have to see. I sent in my application recently, but hopefully it's all still going through and I'll be going to Japan very soon.
Fingers crossed, I guess. That's would be such a cool
same.
thing. Yeah.
By the way, I just want to say I love how well all of the Christmas baubles work out as like Asian lanterns.
Yes.
I never really expected it, but it's so simple. It's just the colors, but it actually works out really well.
Yeah, and also works even better. We'll see later on. I forgot about this here, I guess. But later on, I put a second food style in, and I used those cables to make it a little bit, like really a hanging system. As you can see here, I'm just putting it down here and trying to make a second one, which was working way better than the one on top of the area. But I guess I just need to have two of them. And by the way, just something else I saw in Bears and Advo's episode of Taliko, that they just took the entrance. Did you see this? They just took the entrance.
I haven't watched the episode. No.
But what they did, it was so genius. They took the entrance area, which appears when you're building a queue, and connect this to the actual pass. Then there is this little entrance area appearing with the little guy standing over there and welcoming people to the ride.
Oh, they use that as a restaurant entrance?
No, they actually...
Or like as a little cooking guy?
Yeah, they use it as a cooking guy.
Oh, that's genius.
And they just, basically what they did is like connect this to a part, delete the really tiny connection between, so there's no connection at all, and covered up the bottom part of it. And so you've got a perfect vendor standing wherever you want to send him.
That is so good.
That's great. I didn't see this before building this, so... maybe I would have stolen this trick, but I didn't do at this moment. So this is what we have to deal with right now. But it's so good. I mean, like, I just watched it and I was like, wow, wait. I just skipped, to be honest, I skipped forward in the video and I was like, wait, why is this guy standing over there? And it was like, okay, what did they do? And once figuring it out, it was so genius.
That is so good. Though I guess also depending on the theme, you could also just use some animatronics for it. That is actually a super smart way to get around and actually get one of those generic stuff guys.
Yep. Yeah, it's also a good guy. A good guy. Yeah, maybe it is, but it's actually not a guy. But it's a good way to have them appear. Yeah, that's it. By the way, as you can see, I also saw this that you did this in some of your recent videos in general. But it's also a cool way to get the bins to basically make pillars work as pillars on bigger plazas, so that people don't run into them.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to do, because
exactly. Sometimes it even makes the pillars a little bit fancier when you've got like those little wooden things around it, but it always just makes the people avoid the pillars, which is it's a good thing that at least there are some ways to get people to avoid the scenery items that are right on the middle of your path, so you won't have people walking through things.
Yeah. You can even do this somehow like this with fences and the benches, but the problem then is that people might just sit down on the fences.
They might very well sit on it. I think it still works if you put like lots of benches, if the fences are like set up in such a way that they're taller than the bins, that you can actually hide some bins into fences or stone walls to make them avoid them.
That's also a cool way to make bigger plazas appear a little bit structured. And because with your tutorial you made just a few days ago, making big plazas is kind of easier right now, and it's also, I think, the problem is when you're going to make really big plazas just out of paths, which is way more performance friendly than what we used to do before. It's also the challenge to get in with a little bit of fences and stuff like this. So I think that's a good way to come around with this problem.
Oh yeah, totally. I also think it was a good decision to like mix up the path styles that you have over here, and the same usually kind of goes for like fences and walls that you have around paths. Like whenever you're in a park, especially when it's very heavily themed, you never have the same path textures everywhere or the same style of fence everywhere. Like it always changes up a little bit around the area, so it's pretty cool to actually see that back as well.
Yeah, definitely. I just I think the best way, and I mean, we really often said this, but it's also Google Maps helps a lot to just check whether theme parks have different path colors, and not just colors, but also textures and stuff like this. And it also helps sometimes to just use the really good textures actually of the paths, and then just get in with a few different textures from actual buildings or roofs and stuff like this to mix them a little, to blend a little bit into. That's also working pretty nicely. So you don't have to cover up the whole area with just flat roofs or so.
Yep, like the challenge for me has always been like here I go going on a rant about the in-game things again. But the challenge for me has always been to actually get those flowing paths, in a sense that real life paths they go everywhere, and they're everywhere except for the planters and the rides, stuff like that. But they're also very curvy. They're all over the place. They're kind of like waves going through a park that sort of like the higher areas would be planters and attractions and buildings, but that aside, the water just kind of flows everywhere. Yeah. I mean, that's also kind of almost the way that some path designs are planned beforehand, but it's very hard to get that done in Planet Coaster, since the path system is more set up like little trails that are supposed to go everywhere in these little smaller paths that don't actually connect in that wavy sort of shape. But yeah, especially using scenery to get some different textures in and to actually get some of those curves into the paths. It's one of the ways that I always like to do it, and one of the ways that's probably the best to do it without having to resort to breaking the path system.
Yeah, definitely it is. And I totally get you. And also your tutorial brought me to a thing. You did it mostly on flat areas, like a flat terrain.
Yeah,
and
that's
I also did it in Camel Kingdom, which I definitely should go in and play a little bit more. But apart from this, I just played around in this park a lot to try around with areas on a little bit hilly kind of ways and paths, and it does work, to be honest. It's just a lot of trial and error with the smoothing tool of the terrain, and
it also kind of depends on how gentle the terrain is, I guess. Like if it's all gentle enough that you can actually put paths everywhere without having to terraform, it's okay. But as soon as you have to make the terrain less steep on certain areas to be able to have a path going there, it's just gonna fail.
Yeah, it definitely fails. You just have to redo the whole area to make it seem seamless. That's to make it seem.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, it's but it does add so much to it. If it is a little bit tilled or a little bit hilly in general, I think it adds so much to a park when it's not just entirely flat.
Oh yeah, it
but
does.
it is so hard to achieve.
It is though. One of the things is that it very usually, especially when you look at planned parks like Disneyland or Universal's Islands of Adventure, where they're very pre-planned and very pre-laid out parks, they're usually completely flat, and that's what you see with most parks like that. Like parks that actually have a lot of terraforming going on in them are more of an exception than the rule. But there are some really interesting cases, like Ocean Park in Hong Kong, for instance. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Might be very interesting to look at if you're like wondering how it works, if you do actually have those flowing paths, but at the same time you're building on a steep hill in Hong Kong on an island, and it's probably the park with the best view in the world. It's so good. But there are less cases where there's actually terraforming going on, which I guess is also the reason why Frontier didn't think it would be too much of like an important thing to focus on, and most parks are still generally flat. But it can be super nice if you actually have that interaction going on between the terrain and the paths. My favorite is probably Busch Gardens Williamsburg. I don't know how well you know that park,
quite well.
but it's a beautiful park with like the best landscaping in the world, pretty unanimously.
I would
great.
think that I might have spent over 2 days on Google Maps just going through this park. I don't know. I'm really obsessed with this park, and I would love to just someday go there.
Oh yeah,
it's
same.
so good. I have heard of this park in Hong Kong. I didn't actually spend too many looks into it. I do think that I've seen a few coasters of this park, but nothing more, I guess. But I think it's a good point that most parks are flat. I think my inspiration for these kind of a little bit hilly areas are mostly from actually the parks I've visited in Thailand, to be honest, and some of those. I mean, also in Germany you will find a lot of landscaping parks, and the gardening in general in Germany is kind of popular. So you will also find this in Germany as well, but like in theme parks it's mostly flat. Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we are going, by the way, into a part which we've talked about, I guess, from the first episode on. And
the dragon.
The dragon, right. It's like this kind of, I don't know how to call it. It's you will find it most common on the how they're called, the little fences on bigger stairs when you're going up onto a temple.
I have no idea. Is there an Asian name for that or something?
Know. I actually have no idea if there is. But I somehow avoided it for the whole time, and I just thought maybe you would spend a look into it. Maybe I do. I don't know. I just avoided it for the whole time.
Same.
But then again, this time I thought, okay, just get those fucking Christmas pieces and try around a little bit. And to be honest, I'm really happy with the result, how it came up in the end. I'm not too sure if I'm happy with the colors, but this can be changed.
Oh, I actually think the colors work out really well so far.
Yeah, you might just see it later on, and you guys will see it later on with cinematic shots better, I guess. But anyway, it was like, it looks super easy now in the time lapse. To be honest, I'm a little bit surprised how quickly that.
Dude, I'm surprised at how well the bubbles work as scales. Like they actually do look like scales.
Yeah, as well. It's just I just from my feeling, I just took hours to build this kind of thing, and it's like going way too fast. What the hell? I don't know, but I didn't speed it up too much, I guess. Yeah, but anyway, it turned out really good, I guess. I didn't expect it to be turning out that well, because there was a challenge not to take too many different pieces. So once I started with the Christmas pieces, I needed to stick to them because of the texture, because of the glossiness of them, and the overall shape. So you can already tell from just looking at those little toes I tried to resemble with this different icing pieces over there. They kind of match not that well, but I needed to get in with them. So I try to
Mhm.
mostly stick to the Christmas pieces, but they are not small enough to make, for example, these tooth there, you know, these things, white things in the mouth.
Teeth.
These, that's it. I was looking for the plural. But yeah, for the tongue, they did work pretty well, the icing things. And yeah, there you go. That's already. Oh no, it's not finished yet. We will have the first leg, the biggest leg of it. It's kind of. It's not really a dragon. It's kind of a dragon mixed with a snake somehow. It's like a dragon snake.
Isn't a dragon as an animal or as a mythical beast based on a snake?
It is, right?
Regardless?
Yeah, it
I
is.
think it's like a flying, fire-breathing snake something.
Yeah.
It's interesting how every culture has dragons. Like that's one of the most fascinating things about dragons. Like people often think of them as a typical Asian thing, but they like evolved completely separately in other cultures as well.
I mean,
Anyway, that was just a random
Yeah.
nerd thing. Like dragons are interesting.
yeah, they are. I mean, like even we as German people have a really well-known story with dragons. So that's basically yeah.
Would that be Georgian the dragon?
No, what are you talking about? Maybe.
Okay, I guess Georgian the dragon is Dutch.
Okay.
Then. I'm not sure. There's also the myth of Georgian the dragon, but you know, it's the standard myth of like a young boy goes on an adventure, grows up during that adventure to slay the dragon, slays the dragon, lives happily ever after. It's basically every story.
I guess maybe it's something like this with different protagonists. I don't know, but you know, it's like as you said, maybe in every.
Yeah, they're all kind of the same.
So basically, yeah. But I think we are close to the end already of this episode. Are we? Oh, we are. But what the hell? How did we do this again? I feel like we have just started with the commentary. Anyway, crazy. But yeah, this is the stair with the dragons on the left and on the right. I think it worked out quite okay, as far as I can tell. But it was a lot of work to get in with this Christmas piece to make them really look like these kind of dragons. And it should look way better when people are actually going up the hill. I think sometimes areas need just a little bit of crowd in it. People actually walking there to make it feel like finished, I guess. But
yeah, that's true. Like it does add that little touch of actual aliveness of a theme park to it.
Yeah, and basically the rest of the episode is just like finishing up, as I said, a little bit of the areas, and there we go. That's it. Wow, that was. I thought I did more. Did I do something off screen? I guess I did. But anyway, you will see now some cinematic shots, which I haven't done yet, so I don't know. We can talk as long as we want, because I will take as many cinematic shots as we need.
Dude, I don't want you to have to take like too much time for those cinematic shots. Secretly, I also have to work on a group project, but
it's not that secretly. You told me before, so. Yeah, but thanks for being here again, and I hope I haven't shocked you too much with this episode.
I think I'll manage. Maybe we'll see.
But anyway, I think we can just tell people here that we won't make too many episodes. I guess I think your next episode will be pretty much about getting stuff together and see what you can do with the coaster, and then I promise, guys, in the next episode I won't start anything new. I think it's about time also, because I also think we got a lot of messages to put up the thing onto the Steam Workshop finally, and I think we should do in the near future. So yeah, thank you for watching again, and have a nice day, have a nice morning, have a nice whatever time you're watching, and thanks Silv again for being here, and see you next time on your channel.
See you guys.
Bye bye.